Welcome back to Previously Prohibited. I'm Jenin Eunice here with my co-host Melissa Whitty, and we are thrilled today to have Aaron Baker, a businessman from Florida's 6th District. He is challenging the establishment, better known maybe as the Hebrew heifer, as some people call him, Max Blumenthal mainly.
That's such a great nickname.
Mel and I obviously loathe Mr. Fine, so we were very excited to see that he has a challenger who is, especially going to challenge him on specific issues we care a lot about, namely foreign policy and what's happening in Gaza. So welcome, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for challenging Mr. Fine.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, Aaron, you have actually ran against Randy before. You ran against him this past time in the special election. Randy obviously kind of was the favored candidate. He had the Trump endorsement. He doesn't even live in your district, correct?
That's correct. To use the words of Governor DeSantis, he lives about 100 miles that way.
Yeah. And so he was kind of, no one quite understands this Trump endorsement. I thought it was very weird because he's extremely like your rhino, like your typical rhino. And he's definitely not America first, right? He has made that very, very clear. And
Right.
So that was very frustrating for a lot of Republicans like me that Trump put such a heavy thumb on the scale so early on. But you still did really well. You got 15% of the vote with, no offense, no name recognition whatsoever, which is very good against a candidate. And I believe there was, 4 other candidates?
No, so there were 3 Republicans.
Okay, so there were 3, and against somebody who has the backing of the GOP establishment, of the incumbent, Mike Waltz, and of the president. And still he struggled mightily, right?
Also keep
He
in mind,
sure is mighty. Sorry.
keep in mind that former Congressman Waltz didn't come out with an endorsement for him until about 1 week before the primary. So you see all of these Americans that are true patriots that really kind of waited until somebody in Washington twisted their arm and made them come out and say something.
He's just a really repugnant person on so many levels. You could dislike him on a variety of things. It's not even like you have to pick just one. It doesn't even have to be, you don't even have to be, opposed to AIPAC influence. You could actually just be opposed to him on a fiscal level. He has done some really important things, to my understanding, within the state of Florida when he was a representative. He's just a really scandalous person.
I literally have a folder that is this thick.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Of nothing but the most off-the-wall things that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Where he threatened to burn down his own synagogue, demanded every donation that he'd ever received back. I don't know how you even describe that.
What was the context for that?
So one of the staff members was found to be either gay or lesbian that worked at the synagogue, and so he resigned from his synagogue, said that he would burn his synagogue to the ground if he did not get every dollar back that he and his family had ever donated.
That is bizarre.
That is really... Well, he also said, didn't he say something like after he shook Netanyahu's hand, he didn't wash it until he had touched his children's heads or something? So the man is definitely bizarre.
Yeah, I always say he's not well. I always like to tell a story. So last year, before the election, I had on a guy who was running for local office, and I believe it was Jacksonville, Nathan Taco. I had a space with him, and Nathan's experience with Randy Fine was one of the most kind of bizarre things I had ever heard, because Nathan was running for like a county seat, and it was an unpaid, and I can't quite remember what it was, but I do remember it was an unpaid political position. And Nathan had made some tweets about APAC, simply APAC influence, that it was inappropriate and they should not have the power that they do in our Congress, which I think a majority of Americans agree with. We shouldn't have foreign lobbies influencing our decisions like this. And Nathan, he made it, it was like 3 or 4 tweets. Randy Fine got a hold of them and then threatened to spend $100,000 to defeat him in this county race for a position that didn't even pay anything.
The state committee man. So,
Okay.
and if you're not familiar with what a state committee man is, so in Florida, in every county has a Republican executive committee. The Republican executive committee has one state committee man, one state committee woman, and then all the members underneath. And fun fact for you, Mr. Fine's Republican executive committee that he's the state committee man for uh, voted 110-14 on Monday to expel him as
Wow.
a member of the
Wow.
Brevard County Republican Executive Committee.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
110-14.
wow. Because he's just really shameful, right? He doesn't represent American values.
Well, I don't think he represents anyone's values other than
Right.
I mean,
Agreed.
it's just no set of values. The only values are, I'm Randy Fine, and if you don't like me, you're anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I had during the special election, I walked up to a person in Volusia County, and they said, Randy Fine said that you're anti-Semitic. And I said, on what basis? What have I ever said? What have I ever done? Doesn't matter. He
Yeah.
just makes up his own reality, and if you don't like what his reality is, then he's just done with you. I mean,
Right. He weaponizes this, and that's why I think we have to get people really comfortable with saying, basically, piss off. I will not capitulate to you. And no, you're not going to put me on the defense. I'm not going to defend my character to a person who is not honest, right? These are dishonest attacks, and I will not defend against them, because that's what they want to do. They want to put you on the defense, and then you're constantly having to explain yourself and show yourself and say, and always trying to represent, and then that allows them to take a hold of the conversation, and they can steer it any way they want.
So, and keep in mind, he was in the state house up until the end of 2024, and he went to the state senate for a very short period of time. But in his home, Brevard County, they call him the bully of Brevard. So it's either you're scared of him, or you either have to stand up to him. And
Right.
Why does anybody vote for him? I can't.
If you look at the statistical elections based on the number of Republicans in, whatever district, and he's in a Republican district, then there's just enough to get him through the primary. He'll win by a much smaller margin in the primary than anyone else in Brevard County. So, he'll win by 5 or 10 points, where most of the incumbents in the red district are winning by, 50 points.
Right.
So, he's winning by that small margin, and then you get to the general election, and you're like, well, geez, I'm stuck with this guy.
Right.
Even to the point of, during the special election, we thought that there was a possibility that we may lose this seat, that we may lose the House. Lee Stefanik was not appointed as UN ambassador because,
Right.
She needed to stay in the House for the vote. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all ridiculous. The guy is over the top, just a bombastic buffoon.
Right. Yeah. And he's very embarrassing to me as someone who has been a Republican, of course, a Christian. So when I see these really just celebration of death, this kind of mocking of death and misery is so deeply shameful to me that there's any association whatsoever. And the only association, of course, being just that we belong to the same party, right? But but it also makes me angry that there's not more pushback within the party leadership against this. We've only seen, like, from what I understand, or from what I've seen publicly, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the only one.
The only
And
one?
that is shameful on the part of Republican leadership. I mean, 100% shameful.
But you are aware who his roommate was in Tallahassee when he was in the state house.
No.
It's Joe Gruters, who's going to be the new Republican national chairman.
Yes. Okay. So
So our audience is what we talk about mostly is U.S. foreign policy, especially in the Middle East. Although we cover other topics sometimes, our audience is, very, I think, deeply concerned about the situation in Palestine, and I think, and definitely does not want more war in the Middle East, Iran. So I think they would definitely be interested in hearing what your policy would be in those areas.
Well, I think when President Trump got reelected, we all thought that kind of the world was going to calm down. We all thought, okay, we're not going to have a war in Ukraine anymore. China's going to behave, and Israel will, stay in their corner. Palestinians will stay in their corner, and everybody will be okay. And that's not how it's been. And that's not what we wanted. So it's either we have aggression on one side, we have crazies on the other side. And so how do you balance all that out? Right now, we know for a fact that the people in Gaza are starving. Mr. Fine even says starve away. I understand that they have Israeli hostages. I 100% get that. They need to return the hostages. We need this thing to be over, but we need strong leadership to say, okay, guys, settle down, get back in your corner, get back in your corner. I mean, we were on the right track during the first Trump administration with the Abraham Accords. You need an expansion of the Abraham Accords, and if Palestine wants to join as the Abraham Accords as a peaceful partner, come on, let's get on the same page here.
right, go ahead.
None of us want to see children starving.
I agree. I think the situation is definitely more complicated than that, and it's actually one of the reasons why I would prefer to see a decoupling of U.S. foreign policy from this attachment that Israel is our greatest ally, quote unquote. I think that we need to return to Israel is a official ally, but still the U.S. should always act in the best interest of the U.S., right? We have a dangerous coupling right now where it is a symbiotic relationship, really, and we aren't getting anything out of it.
Yeah, so it's not really symbiotic. It's
right. So
it's
symbiotic
more of
is
a parasitical.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. So we're not getting anything out of it, and I also don't think that we can solve this problem either. I think it is a very deep. I think that there is a lot of. I think there's decades worth of hurt. I think that there's decades worth of wrongs, and a lot of people I see on the opposite side, they want us to go in militarily. I would never support the U.S. intervening militarily on either side. I think the only solution is for the U.S. to pull back and to hold all sides accountable the same way we would do any other countries in conflict.
Well, so to that point, some of the news stories that you see of aid trying to be delivered are extremely troubling.
Right.
I mean, how did we get in this situation? First of all, when Iran and Israel decided to get into it, that was something that we were literally drug into.
Right.
We didn't have
Well,
we didn't have a choice.
that's totally fine if that's your position. My position is definitely that Israel started it and dragged Iran into it in the U.S. But
Well, yeah, I think
But, I mean,
he's saying that we were drug
yeah,
in by
yeah,
Israel.
Israel,
Yeah.
yeah.
but, I mean, for us to fly B-2 bombers over and bomb the
Yeah.
nuclear facilities, yes, that is in the best interest of the U.S. for Iran not to have nuclear weapons. But that wasn't done by our choice. I think that anything that the U.S. military does should be done on our terms,
Right.
our timeline, when we decide to do it. It shouldn't
Right.
be that because another country acted without our permission, that at the end of the day, now we're backed into a corner and we're flying B-2 bombers halfway across the world, literally.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. I think that is, and I do think that that's a selling position in a Republic district. Right?
So now that APAC has said they don't endorse Randy Fine anymore, I guess they're gonna need. Didn't
They
they
did not
drop
say
him?
that. No.
Oh, they just
No.
dropped. They just quietly dropped him. You mean?
No, they actually came out and said that they have not. They said that they had endorsed him in the primary or in the special election, but they have
Oh.
not made their final decision, and that
Oh.
won't come till the fall.
Okay, so that
So-
makes my question even more pertinent. So, would you accept APAC money if they?
no. It's
Yeah.
a foreign lobbyist.
Okay.
It should be registered as such. And, you know, I don't understand. When you are sent to Congress, you're sent to serve the people of your district, people of your state, and ultimately the United States of America. I mean, if we put it in more brazen terms, and we said the Chinese Communist Party Political Action Committee, would you take money from the Chinese Communist Party Political Action Committee?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
the exact
it's
same thing.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
I love the
100%.
Brits. I love the Brits. I wouldn't take any money from them either if I were running for office, right? You can't. It's
The-
you just can't.
But the way Congress should work is if you have somebody in your district that needs something that it serves the interest of your district, they should walk up and knock on your door and say, "Hey, Aaron, can we sit down and talk about? I'd really like to build this factory in Flagler County. I'd really like to build this pharmaceutical plant for manufacturing just north of Daytona Beach." You shouldn't need lobbyists to do that. That's in the best
Right.
interest of the people of your district.
Right.
We're living in a complete upside down world where it's just lobbyist money, lobbyist money,
Yeah.
lobbyist money. And it's a nonstop cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
So, oh, go ahead, Mel.
No,
Sorry.
go.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So, we totally support you, obviously. How do you? Obviously, it's very difficult to go up against this machine where everybody is funded by lobbyists. How do you plan to win?
Well, it's really easy. So in Florida, there are two factions of the Republican Party. There's the Rhino portion, which is establishment, 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 and then there's the rest of the Republicans. So it's the Republicans like me that show up at the Republican Executive Committee, and we're like rolling our eyes, and we're like, we want to pull our hair out, and we're like, stuff is driving us crazy, and then we go to the Republican Liberty Caucus and the Federated Republican Assembly and the Federated Republican Women's Club. So earlier someone asked me, when I walk into the room at a Republican Executive Committee, and I'm currently collecting candidate petitions because you need about 6,000 to be on the ballot in Florida, or you can just pay for it. But I prefer to connect with people and try to get the candidate petitions. So when I walk into a Republican Executive Committee, you get a response of, if you hand somebody a petition, they'll sign it. Once you go to the Federated Republican Assembly or the Republican Liberty Caucus or the smaller clubs, they ask you for it. They're like, when are you going to have petitions? I mean, the last meeting that I was at, at one of my favorite clubs over in Volusia County. They're like, Aaron, when are you going to have petitions?
Mm-hmm.
When are you going
Good.
to have yard signs? And I said, well, it's still hurricane season, so let's not put any signs out. Let's get through hurricane season, and let's get to like February or March, and then we can put yard signs out, etc.
So you're established within the counties of the district. Do you know people on the ground, which of course is the first, and it's being able to connect across multiple counties, right? How many counties are within the district?
6, but only 2 complete. So
Okay.
four partials and 2 complete.
Okay. And then how familiar are you with I know that there's a Florida machine and it is quite a monster, right? But there is this weird kind of contingent within Florida where you have these like rebels too that are able to emerge, right? And we saw that, obviously, somebody like Matt Gaetz. I don't know how you feel about him. I actually like Matt Gaetz. I'm a fan of Gaetz.
I am too, for what it's worth.
I know people in Florida have different opinions of him. He's taken some contrarian views, especially on like marijuana and things like that, which I actually don't agree with, but I get it.
So can I give you my honest opinion on that?
Yeah.
The man is batshit crazy. And a wonderful attorney general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just calling it like it is. I mean, does he know the law? Yes. Would he have followed the law? Yes. Would he have told you? Would he have released the Epstein files with no redactions? He would have probably thrown it out his window and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Go
Yeah. Yeah, we're fans of Gaetz, I think, because he is the wild card, right? And he was willing to, on certain things, especially something that's kind of near and dear to my heart is like antitrust legislation. I think that we have a problem with monopolies in this country. We need to attack that. And he was willing to work across the aisle. And so that was always just very endearing to me that he, the only other one I know of is, of course, Josh Hawley, who is willing to kind of tackle those populist ideas and whatnot. But yeah, I would love to see you get an endorsement from him, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
would you accept his endorsement
from Matt Gaetz? Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Next weekend, myself and another candidate. So everybody says run your own race, which I'm probably the only one that will give you an honest opinion on what Republicans or what people actually think behind the scenes about what's going on in the Middle East. Everybody else wants to, sit there and be quiet and not ruffle any feathers with anybody. And I've already heard some of my people that are on Signal chats that have, they're like, oh, well, this person is on this Signal chat and they're saying, Aaron's already stepped in it and, he really needs to
No, you've been very careful. You've been very smart. I've watched.
I mean, I just tell you the truth.
Right.
I think that's what people want to hear at this point.
Right.
They're all sick of the bullshit.
I think you have taken the right approach. When I say you've been very careful, I mean you've just come at it strictly from we should never celebrate starvation ever. That's gross, right? That is the most common sense approach anyone could take. And our foreign policy should be America first. Okay? If that's stepping in it, then we're screwed, right?
I mean, God willing. I mean, I think that you need 2 things to go to Congress. I think you need a Bible, and I think you need a copy of the Constitution. And if you take those 2 things with you to Congress, I think you'll be fine. However, it says, Christianity was founded, and I'm a Christian. I was raised Southern Baptist. I was baptized when I was 13 years old, Second Baptist Church in Greenville, Kentucky. I mean, the Bible teaches us the golden rule: do unto others as you would want done unto yourself. I can't make it any more simple than that.
Right. I think it was
if that's considered stepping in it, then I guess I was born in it.
I know Thomas Massey the other day, he said, my foreign policy is the golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you would have done unto you. And I think, I mean, there is a certain class of American politic that they do not think like that, right? They take the ethos, the American exceptionalist ethos, and they view that, they translate that to be, we do what we want and F you, you
Yeah.
know?
I would say it's
And
the majority of politicians, like,
it's,
you know,
yeah, it's
signing missiles and
which
Yeah,
is
I
just
mean,
gross.
I posted that today.
yeah.
If you want a congressman that is going to sign a missile or a bomb, you don't have the right guy. That's not me. I mean, I will
Uh,
never celebrate anyone's death.
And I hope that's not the majority of Americans. I certainly like to think not. But I did want to make sure we touch on. We talked a lot about what you're not going to do, so wanted to give you a chance to talk about what you are going to do domestically too.
So, the largest city in the 6th congressional district is Palm Coast, which is in the northeast corner of the district. Uh, I was up there Monday for a town hall that the mayor was holding, and I just wanted to listen. What are the people's concerns? What's going on? I mean, that's what your congressman should do. Your congressman
Right.
should know what's going on. Of course, Mr. Fine, I'm sure, didn't have the time to show up. But, I had a 19-year-old walk up to me and he's like, Aaron, how can I afford to stay here? The rent here in Flagler County, the average rent is $1,651 a month. If I get out of high school and I'm making $18 an hour, I can't afford that. It's
Yeah.
like 100% of my check would go toward paying rent.
Yeah.
So, what I would like to do is have a congressman that will actually sit down with business leaders and manufacturing and industrial leaders and say, okay, how can we bring this plant to the 6th congressional district? And I don't need a lobbyist to come to me and say, hey, we want to do this. I want you to come to me because that's my job and say, okay, how do we support the people that live here? One of the things that bothers me is national poverty rate's about 11%, Florida 12%. This congressional district is 14.6%.
Wow.
So you wouldn't think that. Daytona Beach to St. Augustine over to the villages,
Yeah.
but it is because we have a much older demographic. Average median age here is 49.9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take out non-voting age, 18 and under, that number just skyrockets. So what has happened? So what's happened is Social Security increases have not kept up with what they should be.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I would like to see day one, I would like to see Social Security increased at the same rate every year as the 30-year Treasury bond. That way,
Okay, that's very specific. Yeah.
so seniors know they don't have to guess if are we going to get a Social Security raise this year, are we not going to get a Social Security raise this year. We all know the cost of living goes up every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it breaks my heart when I go to the gas station and I see the person in front of me got $4 worth of gas. This pump got $7. This pump got $10, and this pump got $15. Those are hardworking people that are either doing DoorDash until they can make $10 and then fill the car up $10 more, and then it's an endless cycle. Or that's money for them to get to work and home that day. That's not the United States that I grew up in.
Yeah.
I want to promote economic policies that actually benefit the people of this congressional district specifically, but also of the state and of the United States.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of sending our money abroad to kill people.
Right. I definitely think that, and I like to hear a Republican talk about actually protecting Social Security, right? Not because we see a lot of Republicans attacking Social Security, especially younger Republicans want to. I think a lot of people are worried about a privatization, which I know Trump got accused of, and he has not taken action on. So I don't actually worry about that with him. But it is nice to hear someone speak up for it and say, hey, we have people that are dependent on it, and we need to make sure that it's meeting their needs, right? We are a very wealthy country.
If we want to do something different in the future, by all means, we can do something different in the future. But the people that have paid into Social Security, the people that the United States government took their money and squandered it on bridges to nowhere in Alaska, or pet projects of shrimp on a treadmill, or whatever god awful project that they decided to squander the money on. Too bad, United States government. We have to protect the seniors.
Right. Yeah. But I also think that we need to make sure that we are making smart policy, because when the senior, we have aging Gen X's, millennials are going into their, they're coming up on their 40s and whatnot. And we need to make sure that our policy decisions are smart for them as well, because I think you have a lot of younger people who feel very disenchantized, very disenfranchised from, I know.
I was like, you mixed up disenchanted and disenfranchised, but that was a good word.
We see it all the time, right? And I think that we do have to be cognizant of that, which again goes back to, are our policies what's best for America, right? And
Right.
when I say America first, I mean middle class first. I'm actually never talking about American billionaires or millionaires even. I'm talking about solid middle class. So
I mean, even so, we need those industry leaders. I mean, we live one district north of the Space Coast. Okay, so if Elon Musk wants to come on up just a little bit, and we can build a lot of stuff in the 6th congressional district to support the Space Coast.
look at you. You already sound like you're in office right here. That's the perfect pitch.
Come on up.
The coast. Just a tad.
I guarantee you that we'll sit down in a room and we'll come up with whatever tax benefits we need to come up with.
Right.
Happen. If you can get the good paying jobs here, you scratch our back, we'll scratch your back.
Right.
But I personally don't need a hand in the pot of knowing which stock to buy in order, the deal's going to be announced 3 days later.
Right. Yeah, we saw that already come through today. I think it was Trump actually called Nancy Pelosi a crook.
What? So this is just a silly logistical question, but when is the primary?
August 18th.
Oh, it's
next
that
year.
soon.
Next
year. I was like, whoa.
No, not in.
I was like.
No, he's got a good head start.
Yeah. So you have basically 13 months.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it were in 3 weeks, we would be doing this, and I would be driving down the road from someplace. Place.
Yeah. Well, what can we do for you in the meantime to help you?
Just
if anything,
help continue to get the message out there. I'm absolutely delighted to come back anytime. If you have a comment and you're like, oh well, this affects Florida. Who are we going to call in Florida? That has to talk to us. Well, that's me, and the one thing that I ask people for, those $5, $10 donations really, really, really add up.
Do.
People don't understand that, but yesterday I had 66 donations. 66, if one person had donated, and that's an average of a $30 donation, $30.03. That adds up to where now I can buy, when I buy 1,000 petitions, you think, oh, well, you'll just print them on your home computer. No one has that much money. Okay?
Yeah.
And 1,000 is 2 reams of paper, and you need 6,000. So you're talking about the entire Sam's Club box, and you need that printed, plus 2 more. So, it costs about 13.5 cents to print those in color. So, I order 1,000. That's $135. I've got to
Yep.
pay for shipping
Yeah.
also. So, everything costs a little bit. I don't need the amount of money that the establishment needs. Like I said, in the primary, my cost per vote was $6. Mr. Fines was 100. Uh,
So you
so
just need $7.
I just need $7. I
Yeah.
will work, and I'll be out in Flagler County Friday at First Friday. I'll be in Ormond Beach Saturday. I'll be at the Florida Red Forum on Saturday afternoon after that, to have
Great.
all the establishment people throw water bottles at me. I don't care.
Nice.
But
I don't think they're going to.
it is what it is. I mean, I don't think that they like that I bring light to Mr. Fine's.
Repugnancy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't post anything other than like I'll post a story that says, let's see, what was the last one that I posted?
I saw your missile one today. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm always on a tangent, so.
yeah, of course. So, but I say, do you know Rep Fine threatened to burn down his own synagogue?
Yeah, I didn't know that until I talked to you tonight,
Yeah.
so I will definitely be sharing that because.
So I mean, and I posted that at an hour and 40 minutes ago, and 9,000 people have already seen it. So for me, it's just about getting out the message. However, the establishment doesn't like me to get out the message.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll get over it.
Yeah. So it's about getting out the message and the small dollar donations, the small dollar.
Well,
we
we'll
love that.
try.
Yeah.
We'll try to do what we can. I'll make a small contribution. I do to every candidate who won't accept APEC money. So I'm hoping I go broke. I probably won't.
But
There
no,
aren't
we
that many of
appreciate
them.
you so much for coming on, and
Yeah,
we will
and
definitely have you
for-
back.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get you. We'll keep letting people have the opportunity to hear what you have to say.
Slip your name to the big accounts that we know, so that they can bring some more attention to you.
And we will also do a live at some point, so people can ask you questions directly, if that's
Perfect.
okay. So we'll do it when we can promote it a little bit ahead of time. And we appreciate you. I thought of running for office because I was like, there need to be candidates out there people can actually vote for who are an establishment, but I just don't have the. I don't have the heart. Like, it's too much for me. I can't take so I appreciate you being willing to take the heat and endure all this, all the crap that people running for office have to endure to try to make our country a better place, because it's in a sad state right now.
And I can't watch my mouth, so that's why I'll probably never run for office.
Hey, you could be the next Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I love her.
So
So thank you so much,
Thank you so
Aaron.
much, Aaron.